My name is Echo Frank Grey Wolf. So something happened on my TikTok and I want to make a full video about it just in case this young lady shows up here. Young lady, if you show up here, I have a counter argument for your argument, and I mean this with the utmost respect. So I'm going to show the comment because I don't know if I can actually show the video, but I replied to her comment because she sent me a comment and she did it respectfully, so I'm going to do it respectfully. I made 3 videos. I'm going to show you those first, and then we're going to go from there. Okay? So that being said, without further ado, welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. So, young, beautiful, smart lady, you are half right and half wrong because this argument works both ways. I understand where you're coming from with the not all men argument can be harmful to women. But it can also be harmful to men too, especially us decent people who actually like women. I was raised in a mostly female household, and like all families, no, my siblings and I didn't get along. That did not make me hate women. Made me a little bit angry, maybe a little bit jealous because my mom treated the girls better. Okay, that's normal. But that did not mean I needed to go out and just started hating women. Yeah, that would be a little bit weird because you can't blame one person or one gender for the acts of one person in that gender, which is exactly the backside of this when you say how the not all men argument hurts women. It also hurts men because the decent men that actually do like women, you just put us in a group of men who don't like women only for sex. Now, granted, you aren't wrong, but you ain't 1,000% right either, because some of us men actually do like women, and some of us actually have women as friends. We have women as friends in our Saber Night Lights class, and yeah, they're married, and yeah, I respect their marriage, but before I knew they was married, I still respected them as women and as friends. But since you're going to group me into this, let's flip that script. This is going to be a 2-parter, so let's flip that script. What if I said, and please take this respectfully, please don't return a bad reply, but what if I decided that all women were gold diggers? What if I decided that? Even though I have met many of beautiful women who have been with me and I'm poor as dirt versus women who only dated me for my money. I have dated those women too. I got catfished once and lost $11,000 to a woman who told me that if I mailed her money, she was going to marry me and come from the Philippines. I mailed her the money. She never showed up, making me like the biggest liar on the planet, and I don't tell lies. So this thing here, it has to be addressed completely, because maybe the not all women or not all men argument does hurt women, but it also hurts men, because there are some of us that are actually decent. So if you're gonna do that, you should probably put it in statement. Not all men, but a minority versus the majority. Because you're not wrong, but you're not 1,000% right. And I will dig into that in my second part of this video. So, respectfully, because you're not wrong, you're just not right. And I'm defending Echo Frank Grey Wolf. If I can find the actual video, I will show that too. Why that didn't post? This is the second video. Okay, this is my second attempt at this. So, as I said in the first attempt at this, if I decided to lump all women into the categories of prostitutes, whores, sluts, and gold diggers, now I just put all the women, even the decent women, in a bunch of women who may fit that bill. Like I've said, I have dated women who have cheated on me. I have dated women who have not cheated on me, to my knowledge, and I have dated women and been catfished by women who only wanted money from me from said country like the Philippines. Now, I can't get mad and say that all women are like that, alright? Because that would be a really messed up thing. And then if I had a degree like you have, the first thing that everybody would do was like, well, they'd come at me sideways the way I feel that I might have came at you in the first video, which was not my intention. My intention was to break that fact down that there are 2 sides to that argument, because not all men harmful to women, also harmful to men. There are some decent men out here, and we might be the minority versus the majority, But that still doesn't mean that we should be considered in that group, even if it's a harmful argument to women. It's just as harmful argument to men, because then no women will trust men. Which, like I said, if I decided that all women were prostitutes or whores and money gold diggers, all women, no excuses, and it's harmful for me to say that to women or about women, but I'm saying it anyway. So every man decides that they're going to go out and find whores and prostitutes, give them money, have sex, and then beat them and take the money back, because they believe that all women are whores and prostitutes. Do you see what you've done by looping all men? Even though it is harmful to women, it is also harmful to men, because a sad fact is that there are decent men and women out here, and they will agree with you on how it is harmful to women, but they won't think about how harmful that is to men. That statement is harmful to men and women. It's not just harmful to women. And granted, you aren't wrong. I'm not going to say that you are wrong, but I'm not going to say that you are 1,000% right, because one, most of my heroes in the Marvel and DC Comics universe have been women. So if I don't like women, why would I like women heroes? Two, the most important thing, my Kung Fu is Wing Chun. It is what I do. Wing Chun is a woman, a very badass Chinese woman. And yeah, Michelle Yeoh portrayed her. But I didn't think about gender when I started doing Wing Chun. I thought about how badass Wing Chun was and how it was made for women and smaller men to defend themselves. Okay, this is my second attempt. This may not play. Nope, it is not playing. And it is still not playing. So I got 2 part 3s, but they're not playing. So let's scroll back down to this part 1. And let's go to this.
I am
so
truly
this is the
and
video.
authentically wondering at this point, do we hate women?
Oof. I'm
This
a
is
sex
the beautiful
therapist
young
and
lady.
clinical sexologist. My research area focuses on patriarchal oppression of AFAB women and queer people, and I would absolutely love to answer this question. The answer is yes, men do actually hate women, or at least they don't like women. They like having sex with female anatomy. They like having sex with vulvas and vaginas, but they don't actually like women. And this is really easy to see. All you have to do is scroll TikTok for a couple minutes, and you'll see men talking about how much they hate women. In general, men see women first as sex objects and second as people. They see sex as something that they take from women and women give to them. Unfortunately, this also means that sex is something that they do to women rather than with women most of the time. So to answer the question, no, men don't actually like women. They just like having sex with female anatomy. And because the whole thing is transactional, everything that they do outside of that is just to get to having sex with you and using your anatomy.
I am true.
Okay. So now you got all that. I'm sure she's gonna reply to me eventually, and at this point, I'm not really worried about it. I just want to clear this up. Let me clear this up real quick. She's not 100% right. She's not wrong, but she's definitely not right. She also said that if you scroll TikTok for a little bit, you'll see a lot of how much men hate women. Well, I don't know what part of TikTok she's scrolling, but most of the TikTok people that I follow and that I scroll have no said say of how much we men hate women. So using social media as a reference for that, just go ahead and tear your degree up, because you're going to use social media as a reference for that. I don't know what part of TikTok or social media you're following for that. But now let's get to the meats and potatoes of this whole argument. You aren't wrong. You're just not right. Because there are decent men. Like I said, in anime, in, not hentai. Don't get anime mixed up with hentai. Even though hentai is anime, that's a whole nother level that involves sex. Hentai is only about sex. But if you watch most of the animes, especially in the early 90s, most of the heroes were women. Dirty Pair, they were women. Didn't have nothing to do with sex. It was just called Dirty Pair. They were 2 beautiful women. Read or Die. Agent Paper, she was a badass. Witch Hunter Robin had nothing to do with sex, but she was a woman. Kill la Kill with Rico Muay Thai. I can't think of her damn name. With the blue suit. That, granted, it was overly sexualized, but she was the baddest chick in the cartoon, and then there was her older sister, and it was all about women and clothing. They had some few men in there. They had sexual innuendos, but most of the sexual innuendos is probably from the outfits that the women wear, which was really scandalous and really slutty. Let's not forget the OG Sailor Moon. Let's not forget Iyunasha. Iyunasha was the male hero, but Kagome did most of the stuff, and Iyunasha just backed her ass up. And not only Kagome, but Sango too, who is also a woman. So you can't say that not all men is just harmful to women. It is also harmful to men because some of us men like women. We have women heroes. Rogue, Dazzler, Storm. There are a ton of men who like those women. Danielle Moonstar. All of those are women. All of them are X-Men. Alright? Psylocke. She went from being European to Asian. She got sexier, she got Asian, and then they put her back to being European, which was the only thing I didn't like. Jubilee. Tabitha Smith, a.k.a. Boom Boom, a.k.a. Meltdown. I think they called her something else, but then they went back to Boom Boom for some dumbass reason. Madeline Pryor, she was an evil person, but she still was kind of a hero. There's a lot of female heroes in anime. There are a lot of female heroes in comic books. And a lot of us cosplayers, I met men at the GalaxyCon just last weekend who was dressed up as Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider. But they were men. So you can't say that all men isn't harmful to men, because some of us men do have female heroes, and the cosplayers that dress up as these female heroes who are men, who are straight, you are jamming us in a bunch of shit that we don't belong in. Like I said, my hero is Wing Chun, because it is a kung fu in which I do, which was created by a woman for women and smaller men like me. I'm only 5'3". So to say that the argument of not all men doesn't just hurt women, it doesn't just hurt women, it hurts men too. But you're also lumping us in a minority group of men who hate women. Now, as a man, I'm not gonna lie, I love sex, and I love sex with women, but it has to be a connection. Both. It's not just, oh, I'm gonna get this sex and then I'm gonna throw her to the curb, I don't want nothing to do with her. No. In fact, the opposite. That's happened to me more than I've ever done it to some other woman. Women have done that to me. I'm going to have sex with you, but then I don't want nothing else to do with you. So it works both ways. Because not all men are sex-crazed maniacs, But you probably didn't see that on your social media because you use TikTok. But you have a degree. And in your degree, you study everything that you said you study. I can't dispute that. You're the one with the degree. But what I can dispute is that the argument of not all men, it doesn't just hurt women, it also hurts men. Because that's the same thing like I said in my videos. What if every man decided what I said was true? What if I decided that all women, including my mom, including my sisters, including every woman, including yourself, were whores, sluts, gold diggers, the B word, what else? Any bad derivative towards women. What if we all decided that? What if we decided that the same way that women holler the not all men argument is harmful to women? So what about the decent fathers who will go to hell and back for their daughters if some stupid ass man does something to that? Or what about the decent uncles that if somebody put their hands on their niece, that uncle will go to hell and to jail to make sure that that shit never happens again? But not all men, right? Not all men. That argument doesn't hurt men, it only hurts women. But it hurts men too. It hurts the fathers who actually are in their daughters' lives. I'm sure you didn't take that into accountability because social media doesn't say anything about the fathers inside the girls' lives. What about the boyfriends who are decent men who actually care that they are sleeping with another human being and not just some chick they met down the street that decided, hey, let's have mad monkey sex? You left out a whole bunch of decent men with the not all men statement. And I'm sorry if it seems like I'm yelling. I'm just very passionate in the defense of most of us decent men that are out there, while you're thinking that the not all men argument only hurts women. No, it hurts men too. Because there are some of us that are decent and great men, and we know how to treat a woman as a woman and a human being versus a sex object. Now, it's okay for men to have sexual fantasies about women, but how you go about that fantasy is a different ball game. Now, for that, you still have to take that into accountability. You have to take everything into accountability because you have a degree in this shit. You didn't take a few things into accountability. What about our TV crushes? Most of our TV crushes, before we see their body in most movies and TVs and anime, we see their face, and we think about that. And then there's anime. We have anime crushes, and if you're watching hentai, that's where you have sex. Versus if you have Project Eiko, granted her outfit is a little bit risque. Dirty Pair, their outfits are a little bit risque, but they're heroes and they're females, and the story is freaking awesome. But because I'm a man, I'm not supposed to like that, right? I'm supposed to just think of them as sex objects. And that's not the case. There's no sex in Project Eiko. You get to see her underwear a little bit, but if you want to call that sex, okay, fine. But there's no sex in Read or Die. But Agent Paper makes a blade out of airplanes, tears a book up, and starts making airplanes and stuff. And so she's falling out of the sky, and she's turning paper from a book into an airplane. But I'm not supposed to remember that. I'm only supposed to remember the sex. No, there's no sex in Read or Die. T-Boom's pushing it. A lot of anime push the sexual boundaries, but there's not always a lot of sex in them. Dirty Pair pushed the sexual boundary just by the clothes they wear. But let's go to one who has sexual innuendos, but they're female heroes. Sailor Moon. Every time you see them change, they get butt-ass fucking naked, and a little blue stripe goes around. But as a kid, we boys didn't think about that shit. As we got a little older, we might have caught it, but as we got even older, as men, we're like, okay, now that we know, now it becomes something about sex. But before you know anything about sex, if you're really young and was watching Sailor Moon, you didn't know shit about them girls getting naked. You seen the blue lights and the stars and stripes and all that shit wrap around them, and next thing you know, they're in these pretty blue and white leotards, or orange leotards, or pink leotard, and whatever color, however many Sailor Scouts there were, because there's 7 Sailor Scouts, and it was green, it was blue, there was an orange, there was a purple or dark black, Venus was orange, Mars was red, Sailor Moon was blue, Mercury, who was Amy, she was blue, so there was a light blue and a dark blue, and I'm waiting to, Rini was pink, she was a little baby, and she also got naked in the little cartoon spin around thing. Sailor Mars, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Jupiter, Sailor Venus, Sailor Moon, Sailor Uranus, Sailor Neptune, and Sailor Pluto. So there was 8 sailors, not counting Rini, and then there was Rini. And all of these were girls, and they were all heroes. And there was no sexual innuendos in there that I can recall. I can be wrong, but there was no sexual innuendos. These girls kicked everybody's ass. That much I can remember. So you have Sailor Mercury, her name was Amy. Sailor Moon, her name was Serena or Usagi, depending on if you're going by the Japanese version. Sailor Venus, her name was Mai. Sailor Mars was Ray, actually. Sailor Mercury was Amy. Sailor Jupiter, I forgot her name. She's the one that's the tallest with the green. I forgot Sailor Uranus, Sailor Pluto, and Sailor Saturn. I forgot all of their actual names, and then there's Rini. So, and then there's Miss Vile, the evil bad chick that was trying to kill everybody, including Princess Serenity. So you can't just loop us all into that not all men shit, because that not all men, it hurts women, it hurts men just as much. I just went through a whole fuck ton of anime females that had nothing to do with sex. Now, if you want to reverse that, let's do that. Tenchi Muyo. There was a cop, Kione. She didn't really talk about sex, but she was all over Tenchi. Her partner, I can't remember her name, I think it was like Masame or some shit to start with an M. She was all over Tenchi. Okay? These women were perverted as hell. Then there was Ryoko, who was all over Tenchi. And there was his cousin, who was also all over Tenchi. For some reason, her name, I can't remember. But all 5 of those women, and Washu, so all 6 of those women, were perverted and all over Tenchi Muyo. But since you're using social media and not anime, I'm pretty sure you're going to say I'm wrong about this, but if you go watch Tenchi Muyo and Tenchi Forever, and you'll see how horny these women were towards Tenchi, and he's like a 16-year-old kid. So, where does the playing field level? Because I need to know where the playing field levels. Now, if we were talking about hentai, and you want to talk about sexual perversion, where men were all over women just for sex, the only reference I can give you is Bible Black, Wicked City. There's a couple other ones, but I can't remember the name of them. But that's all hentai. That's all about sex right there. But as far as anime, let's go with Ranma. Ranma was a guy who, him and his father, went to a kung fu training spot where people had drowned. Ranma kicked his father, and his father comes out as a panda. His father bitch slaps Ranma into the water, and he comes back out as a girl. So throughout the whole saga, as long as he doesn't have cold water, he doesn't have boobs. But when he gets splashed by cold water and only cold water, he becomes a girl. And then it really shows you how sick and twisted boys really are. So we can use that as a prime time example. And it was written by the same people who wrote Inuyasha, or the same woman. An actual woman wrote both of those animes. So I can't pronounce her name. It's Japanese. But if you're here, then you should know that in Ranma, Ranma literally made the best statement that any man can ever make. And he said this, I don't remember if it was in the OAV series or the first 8 episodes or whatever the hell it was. But in one episode specifically, he said, ever since we came from the accursed springs of Jusenjo, I have learned so many things that makes me ashamed to be a man. Okay? Because of all the perverted shit that he went through as girl-type Ranma. From Shooting Star Kuno, other perverted dudes on the show, where they're just groping this dude all the time. And see, seeing Ranma opened my eyes to how it feels to be a woman. So learning about like him falling in cold water and coming up as a chick, you know, hey, that's some shit that will open up most people's eyes. It's a comedy, but it teaches you life lessons from the girl's point of view. If a guy could turn into a woman, this is how his life would be. And that's pretty much how it is. So when you say not all men, that statement is harmful to women. It is equally harmful to decent men. So like I said, you are not wrong. But you are not 1,000% right. But what you're doing is you're bulking people into one category, and you're making it seem like every man on earth is out to just fuck women up. And that's not true at all. So that statement needs to be adjusted. Maybe you could did it. Not all men, but a minority of men are willing to hurt women for sex and beyond, versus not all men, because not all men aren't out just to get women for sex and beyond. But your statement is definitely harmful to women, but it's equally harmful to men. So if you're going to use that argument, then you have to use it more clearly. Not all men, but a minority versus a majority of men are bad and try to hurt women, versus not all men. Because the not all men argument, as harmful it is to women, it is harmful to us decent men. I just went down a whole shitload of anime where women have no sexual advances in them by men, but women are making sexual advances. And then when it came to Sailor Moon, there was no sex in Sailor Moon. It was just fighting. In Inuyasha, you may have one bathtub scene, maybe 2, with Kagome, and you don't even get to see anything. So if you do, then you see it on the Japanese version. But in the American version, you don't get to see any of that shit because we're weak and we're soft, and we like keeping kids hidden from the truth. But to be honest, your debate has some merit. It just doesn't have all merit, because like I said, I could easily turn that title into Not All Women and be harmful to men. Not all women lie about sexual assault, you know, because, you know, a lot of women do lie about sexual assault. There are people sitting in jail that never so much put their dick anywhere near a vulva or a vagina, as you put it, and they've done 20 some odd years, and then the lady confess, like a specific writer who had a black man locked up for yay so many years, and then she confessed when they found out that it wasn't true. I do not know what book she wrote because I'm not an avid reader, but it's been all over the news like 3 months ago, where he got out. He was on Inside Edition, and he spent like 20 some odd years of his life in prison for sexual assault when he never even saw the lady. He even had a rock solid alibi, and this is where race came in. She was white and he was black, and so they threw his ass under the bus. Same thing that happened with the Central Park 5, because they were black and she was white, but she got assaulted by a Mexican. So, not all men go around assaulting women sexually. In truth, I don't think any men ever actually think about raping women. And rape is more or less a power crime and a crime of opportunity versus it's just, I'm gonna run around and do this. Now, there are cases where there are serial rapists. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that shit. There are cases where there are serial rapists. Without a doubt, there are cases where there are bad men who do bad shit to women. But there are also cases where women have done bad shit to men, including raping them. And I'm not talking about John Wayne Bobbitt getting his shit cut off, because he probably deserved that shit because he beat his wife's ass. Anybody who defends John Wayne Bobbitt probably don't understand the ramifications of a spousal abuse, which is what he was doing to Lorena Bobbitt, and she had had enough. She reached fuck it, and then she reached fuck it. But, my argument isn't so much against yours as asking you to broaden your field. Broaden your expectations and break down that not all men argument about how harmful it is to women, but how equally harmful it is to decent men, which is exactly how you should write that. Not all men, but a majority versus a minority of men, because that argument is not just harmful to women, but it is also harmful to the minority or the majority of men who are decent men, which is basically what I was trying to say. I went through that load of anime because you think that men don't like women, and you think that men don't like women heroes. Well, I can almost damn near guarantee you, excuse me, that almost every fan of anime can tell you, with the exception of Hero Academia and probably Bleach and probably SAO and maybe Inuyasha, can point out that 45% of the anime, not hentai anime, have women heroes. Vampire Hunter D is a dude, but Van Helsing, the animated series, had a female lead. Witch Hunter Robin was a female lead. Something about death where the girl had a slice, the sickle, who turned into a boy, and she was going around. She was a reaper, but I don't remember the name of the anime. But she was a reaper. She was the hero. Fight or Die, she was the hero. Kill la Kill, she was the hero. The other one, something La Kill, where the guy in the night suit was the hero, but the other hero was the girl with the sword, and her little sister was the bad guy, and they were fighting each other, and the sword takes the souls of the demon. Gurren Lagann, the main chick, was a hero with a big fucking 50 cal gun. What the hell is the other one? In SAO Season 2, the first main hero was the girl that dates Kirito, but the other hero had that damn 50 cal too, and she was the hero and stuff. So, men can have female heroes. They really can. Not all men harmful to women, yes. That argument is also harmful to men, because a lot of anime fans that are male dress up as females. They're not gay. They aren't trying to be transgender and go in bathrooms and hurt women and none of that shit. They just really respect that female character. But yet, your argument, not all men, you claim it's only harmful to women. But you are wrong. It is also harmful to decent men. That's all I'm saying. I'm Echo Fang Grey Wolf. If you guys didn't like that, you can zoom in and find out who she is, and y'all can go talk to her. I'm not gonna pin her name. I don't want any TikTok wars or any of that shit. But I got like 3 videos, and only 2 of them played. But I was trying to make a valid point, and I'm pretty sure I didn't make a point. But if it did make a point, then great. If it didn't, then great. But the point being made is that the argument of not all men makes it harmful for women, but it also makes it harmful for men. It really does, because there are some decent men out here who do have women friends who would never cross that line. And like I said to another friend on TikTok, because she said that men and women can be platonic friends, and I agree with her. But I also stated all-heartedly, it's generally the man who fucks it up. Yeah, because drunken night or whatever, now he's thinking about her, gender-wise versus as a person. So it does happen. But again, it's a minority versus a majority. Like I said, I got female friends at Saber Night Lights. I know that they're married. I respect their marriage. But before I knew that they was married, it never came up. We just did sword dueling with lightsabers. And to think that they were married, it never came up. And then she would say something, and, I'm like over there, not even paying attention. And in the conversations, well, my husband, etc., etc., and then my very first lady that was in the group, Marianne, she had kids and she was divorced. And I still respect Marianne as a friend to this day. And I never, ever one time thought about, well, she's beautiful. I should start hinting and hitting on her to have sex with her. And that shit's never crossed my mind. It's like, she is a very beautiful woman. I'm not going to take anything from her beauty. But one, I look at me, I look at her. And I say to myself, well, there's no way in hell I can ever be in her world in that way. But at least as a friend, I'll always be there. She'll always be there for me. And once I got to know her, sex really came off the table. It wasn't even something that I even doubled back on and think about it. Now, the thing about that is that there's not a man on earth who doesn't see their female friend as sexy. They don't. But most of us that are decent, will be like, I know what's going on in her life. I'm not going to get involved with her in sex without us having a very long conversation, without us making some kind of plan to make sure that this thing doesn't fuck up our friendship, etc., etc. And sometimes that shit will fuck up your friendship. And then when you need that friend, you won't have that friend because sex fucked up your friendship. And I would much rather have her as my friend than have sex fuck up our friendship. And besides that, here's that thing about sex with most of us men, us decent men. A lot of us men will not have sex with a woman without her consent. Consent is very important. But no matter what your fantasy is, even if your fantasy is your friend, you still need to have consent. You still need to know the lines not to cross. You still need to know that you are a decent man and you can have a female friend without wanting to fuck her. Now, there are us decent men who, we do want to fuck our friends. But after you get to know someone, after you get to really know someone, and sex should just like fade away. You shouldn't be even thinking about sex and like, she's a good person. I hope that she finds what she's looking for, especially since I know I'm not that guy. I'm not going to wait around for her to get drunk and have sex with me then. I don't have that kind of time. I also know that I am not that damn lucky, so I'm not even going to worry about that shit. Because see, when you're hanging with a girl and you're in the friend zone, you're in the friend zone. She does not want to have sex with you. She's never going to have sex with you. Don't even think about her having sex with you because you're only hurting yourself. Why put yourself through that shit? Just be your friend. That's it. There are things that you and your friend can do that doesn't have to do anything with sex. If y'all gaming and you're at her house and you're gaming at her house, you can go home. And she's going to make you go home. She's not just, all right, well, you can spend the night here. And even if she does invite you to spend the night here, you're not going to be sleeping in her room. It's more than likely she's going to throw a pillow and a blanket on the couch and you're going to knock yourself out. But let's say you guys are in a tournament and you're gaming together at her house and you got everything filming and it's a 24-hour thing. You take a nap, she take a nap. Nothing's going to happen. You can trust her. Can she trust you? See, that's where trust and stuff comes in. Because this thing can go on forever about that side of the coin and everything. But see, trust is a two-way street also. But for the last thing, for every decent man that shit does hurt, and for every woman that does hurt, there are some women who are just as evil as men. And don't think that there aren't any women out there that do the same thing that you just said that men do about vulvas and vagina. There are some women who just want a man for the dick. No relationship, no love, just a quick fuck and get the fuck out. And I say that because I'll be honest, if I was a female, that would be the kind of female I am. Because I don't want no fucking babies, I don't want no motherfucking drama, and I don't want no motherfucking trouble. And if your shit is the shit, then you got the shit. But there are females like that. There are females who also lead motherfuckers on for 2.5 years or better. And then, that decent man has got his feelings hurt because He's trying to marry the girl. He's been treating her like a human the entire time. And she decides, fuck you, relationships are overrated, you can't come see me anymore. You know? So don't say that it's all men, because it's all humans. Females can be just as mean as males and do just as much dirt and treat men just like men treat women in the cases that both genders are treating each other like shit. So there will be a way to reword it. You're the one with the degree. You reword it. I'll use your terminology. But you need to understand, the argument of not all men is not just harmful to women, it is also harmful to decent men. That being said, I am Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2. Be seeing you. Oh, if I can find the cursor. If I can hit the damn stop button.